built, and this one is correct. We do our logistic regression, okay? So we call GLM y against x because we're concerned with whether or not you get the cold, sort of as a function of whether or not you got the treatment. The family is binomial. That tells it to use the logit, to use the proper link function, and to do the analysis that we have in mind. Okay, so once you run the model, you ask for the coefficients from the model, and it gives them to you. Okay, so now all that's left is interpreting the results. So there's going to be two questions that we answer. First, what is the probability of not getting a cold, both with and without treatment? So what's the probability of getting a cold given that you were in the treated group, and what's the probability of not getting a cold? Sorry, what is the probability of not getting a cold given that you got the treatment, and what is the probability of not getting a cold given that you were in the placebo group? And then we need to answer the question of what is the odds ratio of not getting a cold for treated compared to placebo group. Okay. So just to this is what I just said. These are the two questions we're going to answer. So the very first thing we want to do is state our fitted model, okay? Because we just did all of that work to get these coefficients, or sorry, these parameter estimates. This one's a coefficient. This one is an intercept. But so we're going to state our model. We know that the log of the odds as a function of x is equal to alpha plus beta x, where x equals 0 implies that you're in the placebo group, and x equal to 1 implies that you are in the treated group. I have here note that these are the odds of not getting a cold as a function of x. Okay, fair enough. So we want to get these probabilities. So we basically unpack this log thing a bit, and we can say that the odds of not getting a cold given that we were in the treated group should be e to the alpha plus beta x. So this is our odds, and we know that the probability, in this case, of not getting a cold, given that we were treated, is just the odds of that situation over 1 plus the odds. And when you do this out, you get 7.11 over 8.11. And so the probability of not getting a cold for the treated group is 87%, or 0.87. And we do the same calculation for the odds with the non-treated group. Okay, so the odds of not getting a cold given that you're in the non-treated group would be e to the, in this case, just alpha, because x was a 0, so we dropped the beta term. And this implies that the probability of not getting a cold given that we were in the placebo group should be equal to the odds over 1 plus the odds, which is 77%. And now, like, if you think about these two numbers, they make pretty good sense, because in the data, it's not like it was a landslide. It's not like nobody, in the placebo. It's not like everybody in the placebo group got sick, right? It's just the people in the treatment group actually did better. Okay, and then lastly, we want to just get it asks us for the odds ratio between the two treatments, either treated or not, treated or placebo, sorry. So all you do is you just take the odds that we got here and you put them into ratio, and we get 2. So we're allowed to say then that the odds that a person who didn't get a cold was in the treated group are 2 to 1. Okay, and now, as I promised yesterday, there's a bonus here. And this is that you want to see that if you're asked for that odds ratio, it could be phrased a little bit differently. They could ask you for, like, the difference of the logits. And I just want to show that those are equivalent. So if you take the log odds at x equals to 1 and subtract the log odds at x equals to 0, Well, we know that we had this equals alpha plus beta x, this equals alpha plus beta x, so we can just like subtract the two pieces from the respective sides of the equation. Okay, and then cleaning that up a little bit, we know that the log of something minus the log of something else, the same way that log of something plus something else can be times, you can put these into a division, you can put these into a quotient. Okay, so then you could say log of, now you're talking about the log of the odds ratio itself is equal to, these guys cancel and you're left with just beta. Okay, so you've got, then you can bust out of the logarithm and say that this odds ratio is just equal to e to the beta. And e to the beta ends up being, drumroll please, exactly what it was using the other method. Okay, so then we're allowed to state that the odds of not getting a cold were 2. Murder. Okay. The odds of not getting a cold for the treated group were 2 to 1 compared to the placebo group. All right, man. Peace. Good luck on the exam.